liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to go out of order on one item, and that's the Orangeburg Automotive Storage Facility Performance Bond. Are they here? PB number 17-30. This is just to release the bond. I'm not even going to go through this. Jeez, for years, man. Must be nice. Oh my God. Okay, so I need a motion to release the. Mr. Mandel seconds. Mr. Bond. Mr. Bond makes. Mr. Mandel makes the motion. Mr. Bond second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, so we're done with that. Okay, so going back, the first one up is Bergenson subdivision. PB number 16-05, it was continued from November 9th of 2016.
Simon Bergson, Bergson.
Could you state your name for the record too, Mr.
J.
Greenwell?
Greenwell, land surveyor.
Okay, so what's going on here?
Okay, the last time we were before you was back in November of 2016, as you pointed out. And at that time, we were asking for a 5-lot subdivision. And let me just open up the plan here, excuse me. At that time, we were asking for a 5-lot subdivision. Mr. Bergson owns the 2 lots to the east of this property, the last 2 lots on the left side of Woods Road. And he initially purchased this property so that he would be able to make sure it was developed in a manner that would not adversely impact his enjoyment of the property and his environs, his house and the existing house that he lives in. He owns the 2 lots, as I mentioned, on Woods Road. When this property came up for sale, he purchased it just to make sure that he was okay with what was being done. There's an existing lot, which was called the Morales lot. That was who developed it when they bought it from Christina Biaggi, who owned this property before. And initially, we had 2 lots coming in off of 9W and 3 lots coming in off of Woods Road. We've abandoned that plan. There was a lot of resistance to it. And what Mr. Bergson right now wishes to do is he wishes to put each of the cottages on its own separate lot, create a vacant lot behind him to the west of his house on Woods Road, and leave it vacant. He right now, after he purchased the property, he fenced an additional 100 feet to incorporate that as part of his yard and garden, and that's the way it stands right now. He has no intention of removing that fence. Obviously, the creation of a subdivision would create a lot that could be developed at some point in the future, and we have suggested a note on the map that if, as, and when any development of Lot 3 of that lot was proposed, that we would come back in front of the Planning Board, Architectural Review Board, and so on, and address any issues such as the potential for road widening of the driveway, giving access off of Woods Road, any drainage mitigation. You know, we had Dennis Rox's office at Leonard Jackson prepare a comprehensive drainage plan for the 5 lots. There were still some comments that Bruce had wanted, but again, we are not proposing any construction with the exception of the installation of a sewer main extension that would come from the west side of 9W, crossing by gravity to the east side of 9W, which would then be available for other properties such as Sandhouse or other properties that are further south, but also then allow a sewer extension by pumping from the 2 cottages and the Morales property, which Mr. Bergson owns, which would all then be removed from septics, which would be removed from septics and would also make available to other properties, if they desired, the ability to tie into this ejector system, similar to what was installed in Copac Lane. The Army Corps of Engineer has walked the site and confirmed the boundary. They made some adjustments to the boundary of the wetlands. We are not impacting any wetland areas on site, with the single exception of about 2,200 square feet, which would be the area for a sewer connection in an easement, which would be restored after that was installed.
What about correspondence from the Army Corps? I don't see anything in here.
I will provide that. It has been walked on the site with Mr. Torgerson. They confirmed that there were revisions. We will get a jurisdictional letter for you.
Okay, the other thing is that Bruce is asking for drainage. We don't have any drainage from us.
We're not proposing any.
But why is Bruce asking for it then, for subdivision?
That was kind of my question to Cheryl. I guess it wasn't sent out because there's really no new construction.
Right. Huh? Yeah, so I mean, is there anybody in the audience that's here to listen to this? And you posted this the right way? Did you give Cheryl the posting letter?
Yes?
Of course, of course.
Okay, so I mean, all right, so then I'm gonna let I'll read the comments and then we'll get going. Tell you this. John Giardellas, Jay, have you read these?
Yes.
So Jay, has everybody else read them? Mr. Mandel, do you want me to read anything into the,
At this point, no.
Okay, so John Giardella's letter, June 14th, he has 8.
We have no objection.
You don't have to say anything until I'm done.
Okay.
Bruce Peters' letter, he's got 20. And you're gonna have to satisfy them anyway. Except for the drainage. You have drainage, you can discuss the drainage with him. We're gonna make that a part of the conditions, that you know, I'm not gonna make you go
I
out.
understand that.
okay?
I know, I understand you can't overrule Bruce, and we'll
Right,
have to satisfy
exactly.
him, but
And if, right, so that'll just be one of the conditions, and if Bruce says that he have to,
wants SWIFT because you're doing some utility work.
But the utility
Yeah, and I'm not
work,
sure about
the
this. I
total
think-
amount of disturbance in the utility work is de minimis.
what about the New York State Department of Transportation? I don't see anything in here from them about that either.
They had no objection to you being lead agency. We're gonna need a permit for crossing with a sewer main.
Jeez. You know, the last time we did this, something was wrong, and they all had to come back. That's
Well,
the
we were
only-
coming in with a driveway, we were bringing in a new
No,
house.
no, no, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about another
Oh,
site,
okay.
another application. That was this quiet. That's, I know, that's what I'm saying. Okay, I just said there was something wrong. All right, so moving on. Bruce Peters and his 20, Rockland County Planning. They have 13. None, right? Okay, good. So that should satisfy Mr. Day. Anybody? Anybody? Is this thing on? Okay. Rockland County Highway has no issues. Rockland County Health has 3 issues. Rockland County Sewer does not have any issues. And then correspondence from the Orangetown ZBA, the Rockland County Department of Health, and the New York State Department of Transportation, not objecting to us serving as lead agency. Mr. Young, you're up.
That is some compound you have over there.
Thank you.
The house on 9W, is that your property also with the for
is.
sale? There was a
No,
for-
the one for sale is not my property, no.
That's not your property,
No, that's
okay.
Sandhouse.
Okay,
And he's not selling the house, I think he's trying to sell land.
okay. And I saw that's not part of the project.
That's not part of me, no.
And Mr. Peters, we commented on his numerous comments. I have no issue granting the sub.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Mr. Bond? Thank you, Mr. Bond. Mr. Warren?
No question.
Mr. Sweeney?
No, I have nothing to add.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Mr. Mandel?
Yeah, just one of the questions that Mr. Peters brought up regarding the sewer line.
Yes.
Yeah, what's going to prevent it you have to do the perk test there, correct?
He wants perk tests, and we will agree to do that. The system that's designed, that's the E1 system, is watertight. I've never understood his concern that, these lines go through, the Rockland County Sewer District puts their lines through wetlands, through adjacent to streams all the time, and the infiltration is minimal. So these systems are force mains, and they're designed not to leak out. They're not gonna let water in. So, but we will satisfy that comment.
He was also worried about it floating if it was a high water.
Yes, we will satisfy those comments as well.
Okay, and just the one last thing, last time you were here, you said you were gonna convert to Suez water, now you're gonna stay with the wells on the two houses?
No, right,
We were going to bring in water from Woods Road.
right, and gas, and natural gas.
Right, but that's no longer in the plan then?
No, that potentially is in the plan, but we would do that from Woods Road, not from 9W, not in that same easement with the sewer.
It was a very long run before we were bringing in because there were multiple houses.
Right, okay, thank you, no further questions.
Okay,
I just said,
yep, go ahead, Rob.
We did show
On the
private
right of
wells
way.
being maintained. Yes,
who owns part of lot one? That's the owner in fee?
yes, and the reason we did that is so that if, as and when Lot 1 came in, you would have full discretion to require any treatment of the road, because it would be Lot 1 that was asking for some approval. John has gone even further by suggesting that any lot, if either of the cottages is demolished and somebody wants to put in a bigger house, then the planning board should have discretion over that, and we have no objection to that.
But in looking at it, and this may be an engineering thing, that it looks like it's its own, lot, so to speak, that, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't look like it's part of lot one. I mean, is there a way you can delineate it better?
Sure.
It looks like it's a private drive unto itself, but really in fee, it really should be shown as lot one, and then an easement. It's owned in fee by lot one, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, there's a note here that says, proposed 30-foot private right-of-way part of Lot 1, and then these land hooks that show it all being attached to Lot 1. So that Lot 1 owns the whole right-of-way, and then Lot 2 and 3 would have an access easement over,
Out to Woods Road.
out to Woods Road.
So
Is there a way
one
maybe-
goes like that.
Right, but maybe this one line, is there something else you could do?
We can make
To
that a
show
lighter
it?
line to show that it's an easement.
Just to show, right, because because this entire thing is owned in fee.
Correct.
And instead of calling it part of lot one, why don't you say, fee ownership in lot one or something, so that it's, the legal term, and, because it's just a concern, it just looks
You're right.
like,
If we take that lot line weight and drop it down.
yeah, because it looks like a lot line.
It'll
It's
look
really
like
not.
an easement line.
Right, the rest of it should be, right, so that's fine. And then obviously cross easements. And somebody mentioned about widening this?
Bruce did in his,
Do you, well, it's
Your
30
memo
would be.
also said that it may want to be, the planning board may want to go to rural road specifications.
Right.
If it comes in.
if any
Right
of the
now,
lots-
it's 2 cottages.
Right.
It's entirely possible that 50 years, 30 years, 20 years from now, somebody wants to build on that, and it's not Simon, he's moved away. The planning board has to have the ability to say, well, if there's gonna be 3 big houses back there and the 2 cottages are gonna be gone, then maybe it should be 18 feet wide, or maybe it should be 16 feet wide, or whatever. And
You
we have
mean
no
the ma-
objection to that being at their discretion.
Well, it's 30 now, right?
It's a 30-foot right-of-way, but the
But
pavement is not.
right, but the pavement.
Pavement is 10 to 12.
So again, maybe that should be a note also, if that's a condition, is that, upon coming in, because when somebody comes back in, they're gonna say, well, this is how you approved it in 2017,
John Giardello mentioned that there should be a covenant with each lot that stipulates that they will agree to come back to the planning board.
Okay, so just put the,
All right, maybe, if Sheriff, we could put that as a condition in there about the covenant and regarding widening the,
is everybody okay with that?
when they come back. It can stay as is now. but
Should
when
they
they come-
develop or redevelop?
Right, for any future development or redevelopment of any of the lots.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
is that it?
Yep.
Anybody in the public wish to speak to this application? I see none, I hear none, I need a motion to close. Mr. Bond makes the motion. Mr. Mandel seconds, all in favor? Aye. Okay. So, we're gonna give them, final with conditions? They're going to ZBA? I didn't see that. Sorry. Okay, preliminary with conditions? No, I'm gonna get there, I just, okay, so, we haven't done anything on this yet? Okay, so, I need a motion for lead agency. Mr. Sweeney makes the motion, Mr. Bond seconds, all in favor? Aye. I need a motion for neg deck. Mr. Warren makes the motion. Mr. Mandel seconds, all in favor? Aye. And I need Mr. Bond makes a motion for preliminary with this following conditions. John Giardella's 8. Bruce Peters, 20. Rockland County Planning's 13. Rockland County Health, 3. And the stipulations that Mr. Magrino alluded to. Is that okay? Need a second? Mr. Young seconds, all in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Woods Road is a private road, yes.
Okay, next up is Rathmagary subdivision. This is a consultation.
Yes, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yep.
No, I'm asking you guys. You guys want to talk? Go ahead. Okay, Mr. Greenwell, what's
Okay.
up? This was before us before, so
Yes.
where are we now? Didn't we grant something?
You did, and
You didn't like it?
you liked it.
You know how I love repetition.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. This is Brendan Cunny, Celtic Sheet Metal. He has a building up in Congers, and he bought this property from Palladino. As you recall, we had come before the planning board, and quite a bit of work was done. As a matter of fact, I have just a quick handout here. Are you?
You may approach the bench. Unless you're...
Short time. Is this the old one?
Yeah,
No, that's this, proposed
The other side, it's on,
commercial
this is
building.
the old Powell Chevrolet. For years, it was gonna be Powell Chevrolet, then it was gonna be Palisades Volvo, and it actually got a variance, but the residents brought an Article 78, and the variance was overturned, and it came to a different scenario, and
This is right next to the fence, right? It's a...
Yes, this is right at the town line,
Right.
okay? And it's across from FedEx now,
What's that? Across from FedEx?
yes.
Right next to Yabu.
Yep.
Yabu.
Okay.
Yeah, by the dinosaur property.
This is the dinosaur
That
property.
everybody's walking on finding dinosaur bones, by the way.
Now we're up to speed.
Okay.
So I'm just
So-
saying.
Brendan bought the property with an eye to putting his facility here, but he wanted to build a much larger building than was going to be permitted and was going to go into the residential zone. He gave up on that idea, realizing that this wasn't going to fly. He bought the Olympus property, which is the Key Med property down on Corporate Drive. He got permission to expand that building, and he's currently doing that expansion right now. He still has this property, but we had delivered a consultation plan which was discussed at project review, and the idea was we were gonna move the zone line, build a bigger building, create a green area buffer along Greenbush Road. But Donald Tracy and Brendan and I hashed out a approach which is basically, let's go back to what we brought before you.
Okay, hold on. this is all coming back to me, God. We spent
I know. I know.
We spent
You don't
a
have to tell me.
boatload of time on
I
this
know.
issue, okay? And I had to go through a lot of stuff with dinosaurs about this, okay? So what are
Trust
we doing?
me.
I mean, we
wanna
went through
go
this
back to
whole
square-
thing,
We
okay?
want to go back to what we proposed. That's where we want to go. The bottom line is, forget what we submitted to you tonight for consultation. We want to go back to the 3-lot subdivision. We want to give you the park. We want to put the 9 townhouse units.
Okay, so
and we-
then come back,
That's
okay?
what we want to do.
Okay,
But
this
there's
is-
just some members on the board that weren't familiar with it, and Brendan had to hear it from
You
everybody.
weren't here. But- Okay, so I'm just telling him to come back. I'm not gonna sit here and listen, this is, I've already extended a lot of energy
I know.
on this application.
I know, and so have I, and
Yes.
I'm happy to go back to what was 90% design.
Okay, so let's do that, okay? And then maybe we can, the other, okay.
We
Just
would-
be prepared, that's all I'm telling you, okay?
Yes. I think the public had a handle on this, and where we got to, everybody was pretty much, this is not a bad idea.
Yes.
And
After a lot
Then-
of back
But
and forth.
in defense of the history of what happened, Lehman Brothers came along in 2008, and the guys that were going to do this walked away because they lost their shirt.
Okay,
And, 10 years later, the price was more reasonable, and now he wanted more, and we're coming. We got a subdivision approval.
Yes, yeah.
And it wasn't, this didn't get a site plan approval.
no, just subdivision.
But the subdivision was approved.
But you never filed the map.
And no, it only got preliminary, it did not get final. So we're gonna have to, we need variances, we've gotta rework the drainage, we've got a lot of work to do, but it was mostly done. And what I'm hearing is that, yes,
But we also gave them preliminary, I mean, we gave them preliminary for the subdivision, absolutely.
which was a tacit understanding that you were okay with the 9 townhouse units because it was average density.
I am not gonna deny that, you can go back and check,
Yes,
but that's right.
and-
But
and
I'm just
we-
telling you, okay, it doesn't matter, I
Okay.
said what I had to say.
I think, can we just take a straw vote on the board that this is, everybody's okay with this?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay?
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
that's what we're gonna do. We're
All right.
coming back with,
are you here for this? The people in the back, raise your hand, are you here for this, this issue, the Palladino? Yeah, see, and you better, and I'm gonna tell you something right now, you better make sure Mr. Dell's here when you come back.
Yes, I know.
'Cause, that's what we went back and forth with, so. Yes, of course, yeah. Did you tell him,
All right, well-
that you were gonna give me a rub?
please tell him that that's what we're going back to.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine, he must have had a heart attack when he saw it. He's like, I gotta go through with that again with Garvey, or what, are you kidding me? All right.
We're gonna come back for preliminary approval on the subdivision as is.
This doodle photo was just.
The
project
commercial,
review.
75,000 square feet with the commercial, the same variances that we were gonna ask for before. We're gonna have to tweak the drainage in order to satisfy Bruce's concerns that some of the DEC regulations have changed since 2008.
Wasn't there a thing in there about access to the dinosaurs too? And
Yeah, we're giving you a park. We're giving you a 4.5 acre park.
Yeah.
In a residential?
9 units at the north end. The park is at the southeast end.
no one's been studying the
The
damn
the
dinosaurs.
lot 3 on that map.
Remember all the people? I don't care about on TV. Do you remember all the people that were out here telling us about how the dinosaurs and how we got to save the dinosaurs? No one's been on the property since. It's like,
Oh, tell them about the
that
dinosaur
was,
tracks.
wasn't Andy Stewart on the board then? Was
I
he
don't
on
know.
the
Yes,
board?
he was. He
Yes.
was.
I don't
He
know,
was.
but the tracks are not there anymore, right?
Right,
Well, the tracks have been taken to a museum in Ithaca.
right.
But
yeah,
there
yeah,
are,
right.
there
That's
are
right.
still, there are still,
I'm sure there's some eggs over there.
yeah,
They'll find it.
fern or something.
That's it?
Yep. All right, we're good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. That was Powell Chevrolet. Yeah, yeah.
All right,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Good luck. Maybe. Yeah, we can't wait. The dinosaur lady,
wasn't a bad
that's
plan,
right. Oh, you guys are bringing up this stuff. It's like unbelievable. All right. Next is Mandel plans.
Mandel?
Going once? What do we do here? There's nobody here.
Who did that one? Thought you could do. What did that Jay?
What are they looking for? Is
Who?
this,
Oh, Axel?
Oh, that's.
is this Akira Levesque? Oh, where is it? That's odd.
Second floor, Judge? You know what I mean. Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to that. That sounds like a plan. Okay, next up, US Information Systems, PB number 17-29. They're here for preliminary.
Hello, how are you? I know, neither of you.
Okay, so you need to sign in, and when you're all settled, state your name and your affiliation with the project for the record, please.
State your name and your affiliation. State your name and your. What's your name, sir?
Joseph Lagana.
No problem.
What's your name?
Joseph Lagana for U.S. Information Systems.
Sounds good.
Laura Weiss, I'm counsel for USAS.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Diego Villarreal, JMC, Civil Engineers and Planners.
Sir.
You're up.
Good evening. Just going to go through a couple of boards that I have, give you an idea of what's being proposed. Say again?
Might want to go that way, some
Sure.
folks on the board.
Do that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you guys here for this?
Yeah.
Then why don't you come up a little closer so that you can sit up, you can hear it, you can see it.
Good?
Okay.
Okay. Subject property is at 25 Ramland Road. This is the existing conditions plan that was included in the package that was submitted to the planning board. The property itself, just to orient everybody right here, is approximately 5.3 acres in size, and it's located in the LIO zoning district. This is Ramland Road right here. So if you're coming off of Blaisdell, you come here, this is the roundabout, and this is South Ramland Road. So it has frontage right on Ramland Road and South Ramland Road. The existing building on the property is approximately 33,000 square feet, and it's centrally located here. There are two access driveways that exist today. The first one is off of the roundabout here, which provides a driveway to the back portion of the property where there are parking spaces, as well as the existing loading dock. The second driveway is off of South Ramland Road that provides access to a smaller parking area in the front of the building where access is provided directly into the building itself. There are, under existing conditions today, 43 striped parking spaces on the property. Back portion of the property is undeveloped. When I say back, the eastern side, north, is to the left on the plan. This portion of the property is undeveloped and is part of the buffer to the residential properties to the east. The property slopes from east to west, so we're at a higher elevation on the residential properties, and then it comes down to the lowest points along South Ramland Road. This is a rendering of the site plan that was included in the application package. This is the proposed site layout plan. So the building, the existing building, is highlighted here. And then the applicant is proposing to build a 22,000 square foot expansion on the south side of the building here.
And what's in that space right now?
In which space?
Where they're going,
The existing 22,
No.
or this?
this?
This is strictly warehouse space.
No, I'm not sorry, what's underneath the?
Oh, right now, under the existing conditions,
Just
part
woods?
of it is a little bit of the driveway in the back,
Right,
and then the rest of the area is essentially lawn. It starts to creep into the wooded area with the driveway, but this is essentially open lawn. up
okay,
against
that's
the
what I
building.
thought, all right, I just wanna make sure.
Yep. So the lighter beige color here represents the proposed 22,000 square foot building. The way this building was designed, we aligned the back portion of the building with the existing back of the building, or the eastern side of the building. We didn't want to push it any further towards the neighbors. We wanted to make sure we maintained that continuous line along the back side of the building. As part of the construction of the building, we are proposing to take the access driveway and wrap it around on the south side of the building. So we'll connect to the existing pavement and then have a driveway that runs along the south side of the property. And at the same time, we provide some additional parking spaces facing the building so that they're not impacting any of the adjacent property owners. So we end up with approximately, it's 22 additional parking spaces we have at the end. So we had, 43 parking spaces beforehand, and under the proposed conditions, we would have 65 parking spaces, which complies with the zoning requirements. The new portion of the building would have a roll-up access door in the back, so vehicles coming in would have the ability to drive in directly into the building, unload, load, and then there would be pedestrian doors located on 3 sides of the building, and then it would connect to the existing building as well. All of the loading
What do you
areas-
do, okay, so let me, where are the loading areas now?
Existing?
Yes.
Sure. There is, the existing loading dock is located here. This is where a truck can pull in, back into, it's fully enclosed into the building itself, and this is a recessed loading area. There's another roll-up door that exists in the front of the building here. This would be the same thing. This would not be a recessed loading dock. It would just be an at-grade area where they would be able to pull directly into the building itself.
Okay.
There would be a total of 3 loading spaces. The number of loading spaces is something that we have to look at. One of the comments that Mr. Giardello had was provide a calculation for the number of loading spaces that are required. Based on the calc, I believe there are 4 that would end up being required. We are proposing 3. So there may be a variance that's required for 1 loading space because we don't want to provide a 4th necessarily.
There's no way that you can add the 3rd loading space onto, like, just below the, yes.
In
You
this
see where the
area
little
here?
tree is? No, in between the 2 trees against the property.
Oh, in here?
Yes.
I don't know about the interior of the building. Part of the reason why this is becoming a loading space as well is access to that building. This portion, this 22,000 square feet, is a wide open space. It becomes warehouse space. They need vehicular access into that space.
Okay, so then what about the front?
The front of the building here,
Yes?
something we can,
The grade.
the grade, that's a good point. Grade does become an issue along the frontage of the property, but it's something we could evaluate. The other comments that came up as well was we were asked to look at potential basin along the front of the building, which is something that we're going to be considering, stormwater basin.
Why not do that in the back and then just do the loading dock in the front?
Property drains one direction to the other. This is the low point. It's
I don't
the
have the,
natural point. Yeah, but this is really the natural area where everything drains to. It's, the back portion of the building, it would be a roll-up door, consistent with parking and.
Well, you know why I'm asking these questions,
I
right? I
do.
mean, okay,
I
this is
absolutely
my
do.
first rodeo.
Understood completely.
Where the little jet out is on the side?
Where's that? I'm sorry, I'm not sure which side.
The building
it
comes
was.
out in the front, it goes out past the.
That's what I said, somewhere down there.
Not
Down
in the
here.
front, no, going in the other way, in the
Oh,
side.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
area in here.
Right
Yeah.
there.
What's that?
Well, you could put the parking in the back. What we're trying to do is we're trying to mitigate
Southeast corner of the
what's
existing
the,
building,
what the neighbors are gonna say.
Diego.
Yeah.
How about the southeast corner of the existing building?
Southeast corner, someplace in
Of
this
the
area?
existing building,
Oh, right in there,
yeah.
to come into the building here.
Mhm.
At that point, we would just want to make sure we enter.
Wasn't there a door there, I thought? Southeast
Well, it
corner?
is close.
Not in the southeast
It
corner.
doesn't
There's
matter.
not a roll-up door there now.
He's right. You're right.
It's something that we can obviously evaluate and look at. We prefer to keep it in the back portion of the building. It provides direct access to the parking areas that is back there. We are complying with all, the dimensional requirements and providing that 100-foot buffer. So there is a significant amount of vegetation and screening from the adjacent property. And we're not proposing to encroach into that vegetative buffer at all. But it's something I understand this board is concerned with, so it's something we can look at and evaluate for sure.
Okay, is that it?
That truck goes in the building, the door shuts.
Yeah, Mr. Logano just was letting me know as well that whenever a vehicle enters this building, the truck enters this building, the door shuts. This way, everything is fully enclosed and it's a space. So the only time it's open is when it would come into the building itself. All the operations, everything would happen in an enclosed space. And that, that could be a condition, obviously, that the door remain closed unless a vehicle was pulling in.
Should be if it's an internal loading door.
It's internal, yeah.
Okay.
Just real quick, we do comply with the vegetative buffer along the back portion of the property here where 100 feet is provided. The existing building, however, is only 95 feet from that 100-foot buffer edge, where 100 feet is required. That's where that setback is. However, the planning board does have the ability to reduce that by 5 feet because of the 100-foot buffer being provided. And again, that's the existing building that's 95 feet back, and we're just aligning the building with the back portion of the building itself. There are a couple of variances that are being requested for the side yard and the front yard. However, we tried to push the building as close to Ramland Road, again, not wanting to impact any of the properties to the rear. So we tried to keep it as close to Ramland Road as possible.
Okay,
And that was it.
thank you. The PRC has no additional comments beyond comments submitted by other agencies for this project. Okay, so these comments are available to you in the back if anybody who wants to read them, they're technical. Not yet. I'm going to read my comments, and then the board is going to comment, and then we're going to let the audience comment. And that's the way the meeting works. Department of Environmental Management Engineering, Bruce Peters. He has 12. You read these?
Yes, we did.
Brooker Engineering. The applicant has provided sufficient information to demonstrate that the proposed project can provide a zero net increase in peak stormwater runoff. We therefore recommend that the Eustis Warehouse expansion site plan be approved to drainage, subject to the above project comments, and there are 8. Rockland County Highway. Nothing. Rockland County Health, you have 1 with the mosquito code. Rockland County Sewer, none. And then correspondence from the Rockland County Department of Health, Rockland County Highway Department, Orangetown ZBA not objecting to this board serving as lead agency. That's all, Cheryl. That's all I have. Mr. Young.
Thank you. Yeah, I would like you to maintain that buffer to the east.
This area.
Yes.
Absolutely.
In terms of making the loading docks on the west side, I mean, you could make the building a little smaller. I'm sure that's not what you desire. What is the width of the building now?
The width of the
Existing,
building?
the existing,
Uh,
east to west.
Just get a scale real quick.
160. It's 160.
150, 160?
160, I think.
Okay. That's, I'm,
From east to west is 165 feet.
okay. So the building would be slightly smaller, 22,000 down to 17,000.
Yeah, this width is 100 feet by 220. That's how we get the 22.
With this new warehouse, what are we talking about in terms of hours of operation?
I would turn to Mr. Lagana, but it would be consistent with what's out there now.
It's normal daytime.
Monday through Friday, 0700 to,
Yeah, Monday to Friday, Saturday's an exception. Saturday's only like a service and emergency use.
height of the building, I think, was 28 feet?
Is 28 feet is what's being proposed. That a variance is required for that as well because you're only permitted 3 inches per foot. So if we complied with the 100-foot setback, only 25 feet would be permitted. We are requesting 28 feet.
Is that going to be even with what's there?
No,
No, it's slightly higher.
no, the existing building's probably 15, 16 feet tall.
No,
I don't know the exact.
it's 18 to the underside of the bar joist, I think. It's around 22.
I was there today, it's 28 feet.
I
Yeah.
don't have the dimensions of the existing building.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Mr. Bond?
Okay,
I mean, I'd like to see, if possible, if you could relocate the loading dock. I mean, that is the concept that the town wants, it to be indoors.
It is
I mean, that's what
indoors.
the- Yeah, but I mean, so where they have it now, so I mean, but if there's anything that can be done to relocate it. would
Can I
be
just
nice.
clarify the perception of that? I hear loading dock, this is not a recessed loading area, it's simply a roll-up door,
Yeah,
similar to a
So it drives in the
pedestrian door.
building, basically.
It's a drive-in door where the truck would be able to go in and the door closes.
I'm
Okay.
okay with that.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
not a recessed.
I know, I understand.
Yeah, okay,
Interior loading.
thank you.
Yeah, an interior loading dock. Right, that's the code.
That's what's required, yes, sir.
Birth, right. Okay, I'm good.
Mr. Warren?
No, I have no question or comment.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Mr. Sweeney?
I just want, on the south side, are you adding or removing any kind of vegetation, or is that just existing?
No, the tree line does extend into this existing driveway. A majority of this area is lawn, but there is vegetation that's being removed on the south side of the property. But we are not removing any vegetation on the east side of the property.
So just on the south?
It's the south side.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mandel?
Yeah, just a couple of quick questions. What are you looking at with the green infrastructure as far as this building's gonna go? You gonna be using the runoff from rainwater for irrigation?
No, that's not being proposed.
So there's no green infrastructure as part of it?
We have a comprehensive stormwater management plan that was submitted. Right now, the plan consists of a network of underground pipes. All the water gets collected in catch basins, which have hooded traps to treat the stormwater, and then it gets held back and released at a slow rate in accordance with the requirements. That's what's being proposed.
So it won't be
at this time.
reused for anything else then?
No.
It's something you should think
Hold on, wait a minute. We have a clarification.
Hang on.
Excuse me one second. This is the pond, right? Pump in there, we can use it for the sprinkler system, couldn't we?
Why don't you tell them it's a really good idea when considering it?
If the board would like us to look at reusing rainwater for irrigation purposes, the applicant is certainly willing to do that.
Yeah, it would be greatly appreciated, I think, especially since water is,
A precious resource in
Right.
Rockland County.
correct, correct.
If you have any issues with that, you can call the Rockland County Planning Department. They'll tell you.
We are looking at some sort of,
Or either that,
Stormwater
or,
treatment
okay, so
system.
here's another thing. No outside irrigation on the lawn and all drought-resistant plants. There you go. Then you don't need any, then you don't have to worry about watering the property.
that I can't,
No, that's your choice. You can look about, then you can put it in the rain gardens that are, that we're talking about, right? Rain gardens, things
we
that,
can
and
incorporate,
drought-resistant plants.
we can certainly consider.
Anything that's not gonna turn the tap on to make it green.
Understood.
I won't even say that. I'll say that reduces the amount of the tap that you're gonna go into, to make the place look pretty. I'm okay with desert-like, landscaping.
Conditions?
Sure. And commercial, absolutely.
But you're saying we can provide some type of rainwater harvesting
When you come
system.
back, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, that'd be great, since it is a very scarce resource.
We will
okay.
look at that, and we
Yes.
will incorporate it into the plan.
And that way, we can say to Suez and all everybody else that this board is very, very aware that water is a precious resource in Rockland County. And we're doing everything that we can,
I think a rain garden could be incorporated where we can
absolutely.
look at that.
And drought-resistant
No problem.
plants.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
And this is the last question too. Regarding the 65 parking spaces, they're all needed?
Yes, that's a good question. I'm sorry, I didn't think about that.
The number of parking spaces?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, they all will be used, so.
There's parking along the rear, they are really at capacity right now.
Yeah, I noticed.
Will every space be occupied?
No, but you,
No.
but that's fine, but you need it.
Yeah.
You're not, there's not,
No,
there's not a
I-
chance to
yeah.
land bank the parking, I think is what
Right.
we're going with.
Not
I noticed that when I drove back there.
Not
Okay,
missed.
all right. It was just a,
Just going back to the question you said before about the water, if we're considering a retention pond, can we use that water to pump that water?
Sure,
Okay.
anything.
Sure,
Anything
anything.
that doesn't turn the tap on.
yeah, rather than putting it all into the thing and then releasing it into the
Right.
sewer system.
That's the rain garden concept. We can
Yes.
incorporate that.
Rain
Yeah.
garden, because if, with the amount of water that's stored in there, you can use for your lawns, why pay the money to Suez? And you
Correct.
keep it in your own pocket.
We will evaluate it and incorporate it.
Okay, thank you very much, that's all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mandel. Okay, so the people in the audience now, I need, whoever needs to speak to this, please go up to the microphone. Okay, hold on, there's some rules here that I'm gonna establish, okay? We allow about 3 minutes per applicant, okay? That's the standard rule. So, how many of you plan on speaking? Anybody? Okay, so I'll let you go a little over, but we certainly don't, it'll be my discretion, okay? So you go right ahead, say what you have to say. Okay, hold on. Can you speak at the microphone, state your name and your address for the record, please?
Bob Goglione, 142 Valley Forge Place, Orangeburg, New York.
Thank you.
My house buffers Eustis's property.
Yes?
I've been there for 25 years, and I went to see Trevor, who's in charge of the building, twice in the last 6 months. Actually, it was prior to that. And he was sympathetic with my problems as far as backup alarms and running forklifts through the parking lot and everything else. And it stopped for a while, but it's become a quality of life issue.
Okay.
That office park has become a trucker terminal between Atlantic, Trucking, Subaru there, and Eustis. Now, I'd like to show you something on this here.
Absolutely.
This turnaround, the tractor trailers can't get in there. That building, that turnaround, they can't even drive in there. They have to back in, and I'll show you a picture of the truck, the roadway truck that's backing in, plus all the stuff in the yard. It's all metal, they're constantly picking it up.
But, okay, but what I don't understand is that you're...
This roadway truck is backing off Ramland
Okay, just let me,
Circle
okay,
to the building,
okay.
okay? From Ramland Circle, he's got a backup alarm on.
Yes,
Yeah,
by code.
by code.
Yeah.
Right, I understand that. But it's constant all day long. Now, a UPS truck pulled in today, and I don't know if he turned his off or what.
Well, it doesn't work, because they have to have it on by law.
Well, I worked construction for 40 years, I know how important a backup alarm is.
Yeah,
But property isn't big enough for this building. He's got to back in off that circle now to get to the load dock. And there's cars parked alongside there. He can't even back in. There's cars. You see the car right there? He can't back in there because his car's there.
okay.
Okay? Plus, he's got tents up and a container there with metal conduit. They run the forklift through the parking lot. Whoever runs the forklift, I mentioned it to Trevor and it was stopped for a while. He runs the forklift through the bumpy parking lot with the blades flapping in the breeze. You know how loud that is?
Yes.
The buffer that they put there to Valley Forge Place isn't big enough anymore.
But do you think, can I just interrupt you for 1 minute? Is the addition of the warehouse going to take the stuff that's outside and put it inside? Is that what we're here for?
You're gonna take a road around there? You're gonna put a road through there. This road stops here now.
Yes,
All these trucks, all these useless trucks back in.
okay.
I invite you over for beer sometime to sit on my
I don't
deck.
drink.
They back in for the light.
And you tell me, it's become a quality of life, and it got worse and worse. And I mentioned it to Trevor, who was very sympathetic, but his employees and, you know, he wants to be a good neighbor, fine. My neighbor Barbara and, Jeff Berger couldn't make it tonight, they were on planned vacation, but it's gotten out of control. Matter of fact, I'll show you.
Okay, so the issue is the backup, that's the issue, right? That,
The noise,
yeah.
the noise.
Yeah, but the
Okay.
new
They got
entrance
conduit
will,
laying in the parking lot, they pick it up with the fork.
Okay, so-
When they're done cutting the pieces, I'm talking early in the morning, when they're done with their scrap inside the building, they build these things, they throw it in the metal container that's out there.
right.
Not only that, 2 Sundays ago, they're putting that metal structure.
Okay,
up
so
in
if
that-
I could ask you just to get back to the podium, and then we're gonna wrap
Two
this up.
Sundays ago, the iron workers are working on that iron frame in that park also.
Okay,
I mean, it's a trucking terminal now.
okay,
And it's become a real quality of life.
understood.
I mean, I work construction, I know I told him, I know you're running the business, but something's gotta be done, whether he puts sound attenuation there or something. But they back off that ring there into the thing, and if there's cars there, and if the guy's a good driver, it probably takes him 10 minutes. It's out of control.
Okay, well, we'll find out what's going on. Thank you. Next.
My name is Ronald Bobun, 144.
Okay.
B-E-A-U.
B-E-A-U.
B-R-U-N.
B-R-U-N. Thank you.
144 Wonderful Place.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can you speak into the mic too, please? The microphone?
Yeah, it's there.
Go ahead.
Yes, it mostly covered everything. The problem is I work night, my wife work nights. We cannot sleep during the day because so much noise in the backyard. My backyard facing directly to their business. And then they make all kind of noise, truck, forklift, everything is a noise. It's very noisy, music, loud music and everything. Saturday, Sunday, last Sunday, they were there in the yard, working, making noise. I don't think we can live like that.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Next. Anybody else? Okay, I see none, and before I close this, what do you guys want to say? Because, first of all, I heard that there's no operations except for, a rare emergency on the weekends, but your neighbors are saying that's not true. So are you operating on Saturday and Sunday, or are you not operating on?
Saturday and Sunday is an exception.
And, okay,
And it's not a constant
what's an exception? How many times a year?
How many times a month?
How many times a month?
Do you know the answer?
I don't know. I don't know the answer. I can guess at it, but I don't know. I can find out.
Well,
I'd have to go back and look at the records and find out and tell you.
you don't know how many times you're open on a Saturday during a month?
Generally, it is, hold on, generally, it is not opened on Saturday and Sunday. If in fact something occurs where, for example, one would think you would need something that was staged for a Monday that was unexpected, there could theoretically be somebody there on a Sunday.
Okay.
If you're asking me, is it a regular occurrence? It is not.
Okay, well, here's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. You're telling me that it doesn't happen that often. They're telling me it happens more than you're saying.
What-
So that's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of.
Mr. Chairman, what I heard, and perhaps I heard it wrong.
Okay?
It's possible.
Maybe I did too.
What I thought I heard, was a couple of weeks ago on a Sunday, there was a problem.
Okay?
That is possible. I wasn't there, I can't tell you. But it is a possibility. I didn't hear that on a regular basis, Saturdays and Sundays were a problem.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I may have heard it wrong, Mr. Chairman, but
Okay,
that's how I
well,
heard it.
the other thing is, I just want the neighbors to know, is that we're not the board that addresses the sound complaints or anything like that. That's something that you have to bring to the buildings department, and then they'll go out and take a look at it. We'll listen to the complaints, and we'll try to get the applicant to do something about it, but we have no jurisdictional authority to tell them you have to start backing the trucks in or anything like that.
No,
That's
I
not us.
understand that.
Okay, so I just want that to be clear.
We're here for another building, though.
Now, what's
I understand they have a business to run.
Right.
And there's gonna be backup alarms. So, but if we're adding a road around that building and more space, that property isn't big enough for the building that's there. They can't even back off the road.
Well, I'm not sure if I agree with that, but go ahead.
Are the trucks are they gonna pull in?
Are the trucks, let me ask you something, are the trucks backing in now to get to the load? Do they have to, the neighbors are saying that the trucks have to back all the way into the docks from the road. Is that true?
I am not aware
well
of
then-
them doing that, I can
I
ask.
got a picture right here, roadway truck, right there.
You have a picture of one truck, and I'm asking if this is an everyday occurrence. So just, sir, I'm gonna tell you right now. Okay, good. I'm gonna close the public portion of the hearing, and then we're gonna talk, and because we've heard what you've had to say, okay? And then because I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. We understand what your concerns are. We've heard your concerns.
I'm not
so-
looking to start any
Okay.
trouble.
Mr. Chairman, if I could,
Yeah, but I wanna get to the bottom of it.
The problem is, Mr. Trump.
Go ahead.
just, if I could address a couple of things.
Okay, wait a minute.
Sorry.
First of all, you're gonna answer the question.
Yes, sir.
Do the trucks back in from the circle all the way onto the property because they can't turn around right now?
Mr. Chairman, I have not seen that. I have not, they do back in. It's clear there was a photo that was provided, so there are instances where a truck will back into this area. Part of that
you know, maybe because of the way this loading dock is accessed, that's something that we can look at.
You're gonna have to
and
look at
provide
it.
more information on.
Okay.
I have not seen it personally, therefore I can't speak to that. But we can look at these turning radii and how that loading area is working. The two other points that I just wanted to clarify very quickly, there was a discussion about this access driveway, and I believe, Mr. Young, you were headed in that direction. This actually provides a secondary route around the entire perimeter of the building, eliminating the need for trucks to turn around in this back parking area. So that would hopefully start to reduce some of the noise. The other issue where you do have the forklifts and other things operating, by the construction of this 22,000 square foot building, a lot of those components, virtually all of those components come into the building
Which is
itself
what I
as
said
well.
before.
Yes, sir. So those are two improvements. We heard a lot about noise, a lot about truck traffic. A lot of that gets addressed by the construction of the driveway as well as the construction of the building.
Okay. What do you think? Yep.
I've got one quick question. Can a 40-foot tractor trailer make it around that building?
They can come into the property and make it around the side of the building. As far as backing up and maneuvering in this area, I have not studied that, Mr. Warren, so that was something.
Okay,
I
so
would
here's
have to
the,
look at.
here's the deal.
They're not gonna do that.
What I want to know is, can they come in without, if this is the way you're gonna go, can the trucks come in, do a little bump out, and then back into the loading
Into
docks
this area here?
without having to back in from the street and go 200 feet, backing up 200 feet? Is that right, about? Maybe more, maybe 400 feet?
Probably 300 to 400.
Okay, without having to back up 400 feet from the circle.
I understand.
That's certainly something we'll look into.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to look into it, because I'm not gonna, I think that we should get these answers before we start,
Yeah, just looking at that, if you look at the north side there, you have that McCann berm.
Way up and back. Yeah. I'm sorry, but Joe Seaver, who's our property manager, just came in and told me, because I'm actually at the Jefferson Street office. That's why I'm not, you know.
It's okay, I
but
don't
he
judge.
is, and he just said, Joe, why don't you just say what you told me?
Okay, so you can come up and state your name and your affiliation with the project for the record, and just tell us the answers to the questions. That's all. And you should sign in too.
You want him there?
No, it's right
I
there,
got
it's fine. You can pull up a chair.
What's your name, Joe?
Joe Seva, C-E-V-A. And as Mr. Logano was saying, I'm the property manager. And it is a little tight coming off of the circle, but the majority of trucks that I've always seen do pull up and then back into the loading dock.
Okay.
There's a sufficient space to come by. I know recently there is a cow, which is one of the mobile cell towers, that was up in that area, and maybe that, the trucker was concerned about that he wasn't gonna be able to back in.
We can
But,
deal with
from,
that.
after he pulled all the way in the driveway.
Well,
So I
correct.
think what the gentleman said he had a picture of is a roadway truck, so these are
Right.
tractor trailers.
Yes.
So our concern, or my concern,
No,
can a tractor trailer get completely around the new building?
Yes.
Without having to back up.
Around the building?
Yes.
Can.
Yes.
The new
design.
With the new driveway. We could, we just have to check one radius, but we could certainly design it that way. There's no question. If that's a requirement of this board, that a tractor trailer be able to make it around.
We would want that too.
What's that?
Okay.
We
And
would
are
want
there
that
any
anyway.
improvements you can make off the circle that would help the situation?
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, Mr. Bond, I don't believe it's the circle radius itself. I think it's just the maneuvering area on this turn, which we can address.
I'm all in favor of asking for continuance and asking them to come back.
It's up to the applicant.
Could you take a look, if you look at your north end, you have that McCann berm there?
Which one?
At the north end, yeah, that, you have that large McCann berm.
Okay.
That might be part of the problem too with
The
them.
cannon berm is just the asphalt curving.
Oh, just, yeah, but can they back over that, or that's,
They pull up to that area. They don't want to drive beyond that because then you get into grass areas. That kind of limits the end of the speed limits.
yeah, but you're gonna now be going all the way around with the trucks.
Say again?
Your trucks would be going all the way around.
Oh, yeah, if you're talking about in this area here,
No, talking about the old building, when you're coming off the circle,
yes, here.
yeah, you go straight up to the end there, you have that, you have McAdam berm.
Right here.
Yeah, no, against the building.
Okay, yes, here.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Does that, can that be reduced? Would that make it easier for the trucks to pull in straight and then back in?
Yeah, that's something, there's a tree in that area that may have to be removed.
Yeah, that's,
But we could widen, that's what we would be looking at.
okay, would you look at that? That might make it, the turning radius much easier there, that they can pull straight in and back right into that dock.
It'll go in the building. It'll go in the new building. That's,
Okay.
Yeah. The only,
If you could possibly make the exterior road, the outer road, make it one way, so that you would have very little bit of backing up, other than when they get close to the loading docks.
That's-
Or the
that's-
interior loading docks.
That was our intention in doing that, that whole
Right, just
design.
make it one way, so nobody's gonna back all the way up,
Correct.
all the way down the road.
We agree.
Okay,
we can certainly,
you'll come
provide the
back.
required truck turning templates.
Okay, so where, I wanna take.
But John G has
first of
something.
Where's the container right now?
The container that they're speaking about, I'm not even,
use the container.
Joe, are you talking about the dumpster?
Yeah.
No. Which
What kind of container are we
I
talking
assume you have,
Talking about the dumpster.
about? The dumpster, okay.
is that impeding, is that
All
impeding?
those useless trucks are back in Lawrence, too.
Is that impeding the turning
Then
radius?
back into these spaces here. Yeah, and part of the reason why we back into the
No, I
spaces
mean for your trucks to get in.
Yeah, okay,
Is
so I
that-
gotta close
Is
this
that
public portion.
restricting,
Oh,
is that restricting your turning
No.
into the,
Into here, no, it's
No.
probably
okay.
that for larger trucks, but a majority of trucks have the ability to pull forward and pull in.
Right.
It's probably just the larger trucks that might have some maneuvering issues in
Which you
that
tractor
area.
trailers.
Which,
that-
which we can address with some minor curb modifications, I believe.
Okay,
Okay?
so I need a motion to close the public portion. Mr. Mandel makes the motion, Mr. Young seconds, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so, first I'll poll the board. Right, smart thing to do? Gentlemen? Hello? Yes? Are we okay with this? Okay.
Is it at all possible, can I ask real
You're,
quick,
no,
Mr.
you
Chairman?
can talk to them, but you can't talk to
No,
us.
he can talk.
Huh? You can't talk to us?
He can talk.
Oh.
He's not the public, he's
Oh.
the applicant.
Okay, well, I thought, there's all kinds of rules. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. We can provide the turning radii that are being requested. We do need a couple of variances, if it's at all possible.
That's what we're gonna do, so just sit back and relax,
Okay.
okay? All right, so I think that by looking at the board, we're okay with moving this to the ZBA? Okay, so,
Yeah, as long as they come, as long as
Grand
they address
preliminary.
the turning and the
right,
parking.
when they come back, they'll have to address it, okay?
Your
So
grand
we'll get preliminary, okay?
Secret.
secret?
I know
No,
that
I was
part.
talking to Mr. Young, not
Oh.
you.
I'm 12 years, 12 and a half
He doesn't
years.
yell at me.
I don't yell at you either. Him. Him that's not here. Okay, so, I need a motion for lead agency. Mr. Sweeney makes the motion. Mr. Warren seconds, all in favor? Aye. I need a motion for negative deck. Mr. Bond makes the motion, second? Second. Mr. Warren seconds, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so now I need a motion for preliminary with conditions. Mr. Mandel makes the motion with preliminary. I have John Giardella's 8. I have Bruce Peters, 12. I have Brooker's 8. I have Rockland County Department of Health's mosquito. And that's all I have. Okay, so, also that when the applicant returns for final, he will have the radii established
Shown on the plan.
and shown on the plans.
Right. So
And
that-
also the water.
And also the water retention system issues that we talked about
And
before.
that's one way,
And that the roadway is one way around the property?
and he was gonna look at the location of the, if there's any way to improve the location of the entries. to the
And
building,
right,
truck
and then
entries to the
we,
buildings.
look at the loading dock entrances, is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, take a look at it.
Proposed road
Can't do-
loading
you
dock.
can't, But at least take a look at it.
Okay.
And then how about the dumpster? Is there any way they
What are we
could,
gonna do about the
I
dumpster?
don't know, is there a better way to screen it?
You gonna move that second drive?
Diego, you're gonna have to look at the dumpster issue too, and find out what the problem is,
We will do that.
okay? And also, if the forklifts don't, why are put the dumpster close to the building and have them dump the stuff out of the building into the dumpster, you know what I mean? What are we doing here, okay? And if you need the fourth loading dock to take the stuff that's in the building and put it in the dumpster, start looking at that too, okay, please? Okay?
I'll second.
Okay, so Mr. Bond
No,
seconds.
I
Oh, wait.
think I made the motion, right?
Oh,
I mean, okay, I'll second. I'll
Mr.
second.
Bond
Okay.
seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so once again, we're here for, oh,
Need
you're done,
Orangeburg.
thank you.
Orangeburg storage.
Orangeburg
Oh,
storage?
we did that one already, we did that one already.
Mandel?
Mandel.
That's what I was saying.
Rob, Mandel, they have drainage, can we?
Are you Mandel?
Oh, you are?
Oh,
You
we're-
did? Okay, good, good, good.
Hello, we're calling you.
We weren't sure if you were talking about him or us.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
the problem is.
He made the joke.
We got the last name together, we're gonna just throw the whole thing out.
He has to recuse himself.
That's different spelling and last name.
Okay, so we need your, you have to sign in and state your name and affiliation for the record. Who's the man, you're the owner?
Yes.
You been here before?
No. Do I need to sign in too?
Yes.
Looks familiar.
N-A-S-H-E-R. Yes, Edward Mandel.
Hold on. They got drainage.
Yeah. It's pretty cut and dry. They're here because it's critical environmental.
I know why they're
For
here.
the most
My
part.
favorite. Yeah,
Other
because
than
I can't
that,
stand it. I think it's
The
ridiculous.
building department can
Nobody
handle
else,
this.
they should be able to go right to this, for this kind of stuff, they should go right there. They shouldn't even bother now. But I've been saying it for 12 and a half years. So, what do you got? Nice and roll on.
Okay, good evening. My name is Ryan Nasher from Addison.
Hold on for a second. Sir, are you here for this?
I'm sorry?
Are you here for this?
Oh, I was here to see the meeting.
Okay.
Come to one of these meetings.
Okay, good.
What do you think?
Wonderful theater, you're doing a good job.
I try to keep it entertaining.
And it's free, right? It's a new TV show coming out.
Go ahead. Okay, so,
All
what
right,
do you
I'm
want
going
to
to
do?
over. Ryan Nasher from Adsel Nasher and Ziegler. We are the engineers for the applicant. He's here with us is Edward Mandel. Do you want to speak your name?
Are you asking him like you don't know, or are you asking him like?
No, we know his
I'm
name.
trying to-
We're fine, we just need to know what you want.
Statement, I guess that's what we want to know.
So we are this is a single lot residential property. We are proposing a garage. It's a 22 by 24. And there is an existing wall and is damaged by the storm about a couple of years ago. So we are repairing the wall, and back of the house we are replacing the existing wall, which is about 3 feet high, and putting the higher wall. Part of the reason is he's looking for a flatter backyard
Okay.
to put a gazebo, and also the patio right behind the house.
Okay,
Um,
let me ask you something, I'm gonna cut you off right there.
Sure.
Did you talk to your neighbors about this?
I'm sorry.
Did you post this?
Posts already on my property?
Like, you post it to show your neighbors that this is something that you wanna do, that you're coming to the planning board? Do you know about the, okay.
Yeah, that's on.
And you got it posted, right? I saw
I'm
this.
gonna
on
give
this.
you the affidavit, I'm
No,
sorry.
no, it's okay. Just, you can give it to her before you leave. I know,
After
I'm
the
asking you a
meeting, I'm gonna give
question,
you the affidavit.
because I'm gonna rush through, I'm gonna get you through this, okay? That's why. Is anybody out here, because I don't, is there any objections to this from this board? You have objection to it? You have, I'm gonna let you answer your questions, don't get me wrong, but I just wanna make sure that I'm not going to, that I'm not, I wanna fast track this, because I have an issue with the fact that they can't go directly to the building department, but you can ask all the questions you want, and I will, just like normal, okay? Okay, so, I'm gonna read the comments,
Yes,
okay? Have you read the comments?
I did.
Are there any of the comments in here that you have an issue with?
One of them,
Tell me.
which is the DEC comment, they're talking about the archaeological resource that could be, they're looking at the website, and this property shown the site for the archaeological, the location. So,
Okay, well, you know what, I'll get to that in a second, and then we'll go through this real quick. The comments. John Giardella's has 6. Any issues? Sir?
no,
So it needs a variance, I guess.
Yeah, right.
But that's what we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm just saying, as long as you.
You're gonna need a variance.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
okay.
Yes.
Bruce Peters from engineering, he has 10.
No problem, we could address that.
Brooker Engineering says that they're okay with drainage, and they have 9 comments. It doesn't matter if you have a problem with them, you have to solve them.
Sure.
Rockland County Planning. Okay, has 3, but there's nothing there that needs to be overridden.
Fine.
Rockland County Highway doesn't have any issues. You have the Health Department with the mosquito code.
Yes,
Rockland County Sewer has no issues.
correct.
Now, we're on to the DEC. Is that the letter you're
Yes.
referring to?
Yes.
And do you know by which, where are we? That you
We're,
Cultural Resources.
Yes.
Page 2. Okay, so they've identified that it's in an area that's cultured, that's maybe or may not be archaeologically whatever. So what do they do? What does that mean?
Visit the New York State Office of Historic Preservation website.
There's a form that can be filled out.
Okay.
requesting.
Okay, so you have to fill out the form and bring it back to us.
okay.
Look at it.
Yes. They have to fill out a form, send it in, and usually it says they'll be responsible in 30 days.
Okay, well, that's what you have to do, that's what they have to do.
All right, we'll fill out the form and we'll come back.
Okay,
Sure.
well, you're gonna have to go, right, okay.
Thank you.
That's good. And then, correspondence from the DOT, Rockland County Department of Health, and ZBA of Orangetown, not objecting to us serving as lead agency. Mr. Young.
I drove by the property today. That is a tough piece of property to put the garage in. I had no problems with the gazebo and any of the other improvements you're making down below, but a 2-story, 22 by 28 garage, are you putting it on pylons? How are you planning on constructing that? It's a pretty, and you already have a 2-car garage in the house.
I have 1-car garage.
Okay, 1 car. It's a tough property to put a garage that large. That's my only concern.
Okay. Mr. Bond? Mr. Moore?
No, I kind of agree with you, I don't know why they're here.
Okay. Mr. Sweeney?
Just to follow up to the question you asked, 2-story garage, how tall is it gonna be? Doesn't have an elevation on
Well,
the plan.
we are matching the same elevation to the existing building. So at the garage, we have this, from the garage driveway is 9 feet high.
9 feet,
Yes.
between 2 stories and 9 feet?
No, there's a basement though.
Uh,
The basement and then
below.
one story. Yeah, yes. The basement is for the storage.
Right,
Yes.
thank you, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, couple questions. Did we get anything from the town highway department, Cheryl? No. And we gotta obtain written permission. You intend to fill in the draining easement on the north side of the property?
Correct.
The water that's currently flowing down there, where's that gonna go? That goes all the way from Shady Side all the way down to
9W?
9W. That's some drainage swale or trench or channel, whatever you wanna call it. You wanna fill that all in?
All right, we're gonna take a look at it. The drainage, the way I look at it, we are not changing the hydrology. It's a sheet flow. It is true that we are cutting down, Edward, is the trees right there?
There is, so,
There is a tree,
where the
right?
garage is being proposed, there is a big tree right now,
Okay.
but that would be the only tree that would be cut down to make room for the garage.
So what we are doing is we are cutting down the trees and making a lawn, and it's gonna be overland flow. We are not changing to the concentrated flow, so we're not really impacting the type of the flow that's going downhill. So, but we are doing the mitigation for the garage, which we are putting the underground infiltration practice to mitigate and to provide the zero net zero peak runoff.
Okay, you say in your things, there'll be no runoff onto adjacent properties, yet when it comes out, was that riprap on both sides, on the north and south sides, for the overflow?
Well, we couldn't put anything in the easement because there's a 40-foot easement. The way we did, we took the drainage to the other side, right next to the existing steps. So we are mitigating the amount of the drainage that coming from the garage to the other side. So we are providing the zero net for the overall site.
So you're moving everything over to the one side?
Correct, because there is a 40-foot easement. We're not allowed to put any permanent structure in there.
But are you gonna fill in the current swale that's going down? On the north side of the property, there's a trench, swale, a channel, whatever you wanna call it. The water runs down now, flows all the way down. I don't see, it's not shown on any of your plans either.
The swell that we have is just directing the water that coming towards the building, which is the new garage, which is a small portion.
Yeah, I'm talking about the flow, the current flow. There's a trench within that easement.
Okay, trench in the easement.
There's a photo of it in Brooker's
Okay.
report. It's the fourth photo on the bottom corner, bottom right.
Like trench, do you mean just like an indentation in the ground?
That's the one just north of the
Channel, they're calling it.
It's shown on there.
Where is that one located?
Oh, that's actually on the south side.
It's in the
That's
south
on the
side?
south side of the property.
So that's not on the north?
No, this is definitely, so what you're looking at is on the south side of the property, guys.
Wait, what is that with this pipe over here?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this, I know exactly what this pipe is, because I
It's not on there,
recognize
it's
the
not,
fence. It's,
Okay.
not
yeah,
the
it's
property.
going right down here.
Shown on,
It's actually on the south side.
well,
Yeah, it's the south, that's on the south
no,
side.
no, north side, north side.
So you're standing along the
Take a
north
look
side.
at the right bottom
this
corner on Brooklyn.
another one coming
That's the north side.
I'm just telling you, he's told us that it's on the south side.
There's a south side one and there's a north side one.
The south side one has the pipe.
Right, the south side, so this
Right.
pipe, just to make sure we're talking about the same thing, so this picture here, this is the south side,
Correct.
Right.
okay? On the north side, there is nothing like this.
No,
There is an
down below,
easement.
lower
Down
right,
below,
lower right.
hand
Lower
corner.
right,
okay.
Bottom,
Mike,
I can't even tell what
relax,
this
okay,
is.
There's a,
channel.
they're calling it a channel, it's just like a natural, or not so much.
Well, there's just a natural indentation, I mean, I wouldn't call it a channel, guys. If you go there, it just looks like a small,
But you don't plan on doing anything with it?
we're not gonna do anything with it anyway. That's not being touched. The garage is actually going to be closer to where the driveway ends, and that's actually the beginning of the easement, which we don't even want to touch.
Okay, so you're not filling in the
We're
easement.
not filling
No, we
it.
are not.
No, not at all.
Okay, because I'm looking at the, because you said you're gonna comply with DEME. And number 6, says you'll obtain written permission from town highway department to fill in the existing drainage easement. That's the question I have.
Well, your grading shows some filling in the easement,
Well,
right?
yeah, there is, this is just due to the construction, the excavation and putting the foundation to the
Between,
proposed
it's
garage.
like 2 feet,
Yeah,
2
yes.
feet, give or take, right?
Yes,
That's the way I'm reading it. Foot in some sections, 2 feet in other sections.
I mean,
Now, the proposed retaining wall with fence to the bottom of your property. There's a wall there now. How much higher are you gonna build a new wall?
So the way the property is, it's not only slanted going towards the river, it's also slanted going towards the north side.
Right.
So what I basically want to do is, so in some places it won't even go higher at all. In some places it will stay the same, and in other areas, it will increase just to flatten out the entire backyard. So basically,
That
I don't know how
would
to-
be quite a high wall if you're gonna flatten out the backyard.
Well, not all of it,
It
'cause-
slopes down now.
well, it's also going to be stepped down towards the middle, I believe. Isn't that how we designed it?
yes, there's gonna be steps. There's a wall which
No, I
is
think-
right at the
I think he's
patio.
referring to this wall right here.
Okay.
So basically, if you look at the south side of the wall, that height will be consistent throughout.
It's approximately 5-foot-high wall.
Currently, honestly, I don't know how high
The
it is.
face-
It's gonna be 7 feet at the bottom, the maximum height at the back of the wall.
7 feet right in one corner, and then it goes to 5 feet.
Yeah, it's a maximum height and then goes back to 4 feet, 3 feet, and the 0.
Okay, but if you're trying to level out this backyard, you're not going to raise that back wall? South, on the east side?
East side. Well, east side, there is no, are you talking about the middle wall? There's
No, I'm
three.
talking about the wall all the way at the bottom. Proposed
Okay.
retention wall with fence.
Well, there is an existing wall which is about 4
Yes,
feet
I
height.
know.
We are raising that, we are putting a fill, that's true, and we are making it 7 feet maximum and then go back to 4 and then 3 and then 0. So it's not 7 feet all the way to the end, but it varies.
We should have something that shows us exactly the height of the wall all the way along.
That's
That
fine.
is some steep backyard.
Okay.
And the other house just below it is right there.
Okay, we could show the profile and then detail of the wall, definitely.
Is there gonna be any kind of guard on the top of the wall?
Guide rail?
A guard on top of the wall?
There actually,
Fence?
so my property actually ends beyond the wall, and there's currently a tree line. So there are trees there. And then the other property that you're referring to, my neighbor, has another retaining wall, but it's much smaller. But that's already on his property. So there is a buffer. I didn't measure it, but I would say the buffer is from maybe the edge of this table to where the beginning of your podium starts.
That's between the current wall and the property of the neighbor.
That is correct.
The neighbor, actually, Dan Orlando, we just did the wall recently. They put a new wall for their.
They're still working on that house.
It's been done, they installed, the work is done, yes.
He's right. They have been doing some updates to their house, but not the wall. The wall.
Okay. Mr. Mandel?
Yeah, I'd just like to see the dimensions on that wall, the fence is gonna be put along there.
That's fine, we could show the.
But they have to come back for, final, so do you have a problem with them sending them for preliminary and then they have to get, variances?
I'd rather see a little bit more, that's just my opinion, but I'd like to see more.
Anybody else?
That's up to the board.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask them to make sure, it does- when you come back for final.
Yes.
Okay.
And
So-
address that issue, because Mr. Peters is the one who brought up about the filling the existing drainage easement.
Okay.
All right, look at his comment number 6, all right?
All right,
Peters.
sure, that's fine.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to,
I'll make a motion to close the public.
yes, there's nobody here. Thank you. Mr. Bond, second. Mr. Sweeney, all in favor? Aye. Okay, and I need a motion,
So let's close the public.
Okay, sorry. I was talking to them.
okay.
Keep it open forever.
Lead agency for the right? Mr. Bond makes the motion for lead agency. Second. Mr. Sweeney, seconds, all in favor? Mr. Bond makes the motion for neg deck. Second.
Second.
Mr. Warren, seconds, all in favor? And I need a motion for preliminary. Mr. Bond makes a motion for preliminary with conditions. John Giardella, 6. Bruce Peters, 10. Brookers, 9. Rockland County Planning, 3. Rockland County Health Mosquito Code. And then the condition from DEC that they have to meet the cultural resource
And make application.
application.
And we want to see what, the detail on the wall,
The details on the wall,
and also address that, drainage, what they're calling
And-
ditch on the other side, show that.
it's on
Yes.
Bruce Peters. Okay, anything else?
Anything else?
Second? Mr. Sweeney, seconds, all in favor? Aye. Against? Mr. Mandel opposes. Okay, so you have preliminary, you can go to ZBA, and then you come back for final.
Sure, thank you.
You're welcome.
We have minutes?
Minutes?
All right, I'll make a motion to,
Mr. Bond makes a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
Mr. Warren, seconds, all in favor? Aye. Any new business? Mr. Bond makes a motion to dismiss. Mr. Sweeney, seconds, all in favor?
You were gonna say goodbye to the guy over here.
Short timer?
That's it, short time.
Short timer.